welcome to Yin. I hope you've all had a good week, and if you haven't, well, we've got Yin now to make you feel a little bit better. So I love the practice of Yin. I think the older I've got, the more I've appreciated it and the more I feel I need it as well. It's just such a lovely practice. It feels like it's such a gift that you're giving to yourself, really, and it just helps me to enter another kind of mindset, another kind of world, and just a deeper kind of connection with myself as well. So I love teaching this practice, and I hope you enjoy doing it. So the last few weeks we've been looking at the different chakras, and for the next 4 weeks we're going to be working with different deities. So deities are like Hindu gods. Not that I'm a Hindu, but I love reading different ancient texts on Buddhism and Hinduism, and I think we can learn a lot from some of the stories that are around the deities. We can kind of connect to a lot of the themes in them as well. So this evening we're going to be working with Lakshmi, who's the goddess of light and abundance. So I'll say a little bit more about her as we move through the practice. So first of all, just come in to find your comfortable seat. You can either come into your cross-legged Sukhasana, or like me, you can come to kneel. If you have a bolster or pillows, just bring in one knee either side of the bolster. And you can bring the hands either to rest on the thighs or the knees, or bringing them into your lap. So whichever feels most comfortable here. Just allowing your yogic seat to grow nice and heavy now. Just grounding down, rooting into the earth. And then from this nice, heavy yogic seat, allowing your upper body to grow nice and light and tall. Allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears. And inviting a little softness into the face. Allowing yourself to drop a little deeper into your body. And as you begin to become a little bit more present with your body, noticing how it's feeling this evening, just slowly beginning to draw your focus to your breath. So no need to do anything with the breath, just observing how effortless your breath is. Notice how the inhale takes care of itself, as does the exhale. Just for these next few breaths, just getting a little bit curious about your breath. Just noticing how it feels when it moves in your body. Noticing if it's a shallow breath or a deep breath. And as you take these first few moments just to sink a little deeper into your body, I'm just going to read out a few words about Lakshmi, the goddess of light and abundance. So in Sanskrit, Lakshmi means richness and good fortune. Lakshmi not only symbolizes material wealth, but also a plenitude of the mind, heart and body. Depicted as sitting on a lotus flower with coins showering from her hands, she embodies the qualities of fullness. And from this abundance comes generosity, a reminder that there is enough for us all. How easy is it for us sometimes to feel we're cut off from all that life offers us, and that we are lacking in some way. Lakshmi's teachings ask us to look beyond the surface of our material lives, so we can tap into that feeling of fullness that emanates from within. This wellspring of generosity, abundance and wealth arises naturally by acknowledging our existing blessings, bringing us to the practice of gratitude, a formal recognition of what we already have. Studies have shown that a regular gratitude practice ushers us towards a deeper appreciation of our life. We also gain a greater understanding of what is valuable and important and what is merely a passing desire. Gratitude reminds us we are being loved and cared for, and we have enough to live a beautiful life. We can start by remembering the simple things, the gift of breath, the preciousness of life, of family, by getting rooted in what we already have. So keeping the eyes closed, I just want you to begin to bring the hands towards heart center, into prayer hands, pressing the left palm against the right. And we're going to come into our Lotus Mudra in honor of Lakshmi. So just opening up the hands, keeping the little fingers and the thumbs together. So you're creating this cup-like mudra shape with the hands. Keeping the eyes closed and just bringing your focus to your breath. And just bringing into mind one thing that you're really grateful for right now, placing it into your Lotus Mudra. And when we think of that thing or that person or that place that we're grateful for, it's important that we don't just think of it as a thought, but we actually feel that gratitude in our body. That helps us to lift our vibration. Just taking these next few breaths and feel it in your body, how it feels to be grateful for that person, that place, or that thing that you're choosing to focus on right now. And I'm going to invite you to take 3 full inhales through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep inhale. And one last inhale. And then just gently bringing the palms of the hands back together into your Anjali Mudra, prayer hands. And as you exhale, just releasing the hands down and gently beginning to blink the eyes open. So we're going to come into our first Yin Pose. So with our gratitude, we're working a lot with the heart center. So we're going to start by coming into our melting heart. So we're going to come onto all fours. And we're just going to do a couple of gentle cat-cows just to get into the spine, because melting heart pose can be quite a deep pose for the spine. So on the inhale, just releasing the belly down, drawing chin to sky. And as you exhale, drawing chin to chest, navel to spine, bringing that gaze back between the knees. So just taking a couple of gentle cat-cows, just noticing how the spine is feeling. I'm going to come into our melting heart pose. So I'm going to show you the full version of the pose, and then I'm going to give you an alternative because it's quite a strong pose to be in for 3 minutes. So if you're coming into the full version, we're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees, and you're walking the hands as far forward as you can without moving those hips, and then releasing either the chin or the forehead down to the floor. If it feels too strong, a bit on the chin, then come onto the forehead. You've also got the option to place the block underneath the forehead. So just choosing what feels best for your body. If you're coming into the alternative version, you're going to bend that right elbow, bring the right forearm down onto the floor and stretch that left hand in front. And you can bring the forehead either to rest on the forearm or down onto the earth. So what that modified pose does is take that extra pressure off the shoulders. So just feeling free to take whichever version feels good for your body. Just taking these first few moments just to begin to settle into your shape here. Remembering that with our Yin practice, we're working with our edge. So we want to feel some degree of sensation in the body, whether that's through a deep sense of stretch or compression. And on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no sensation at all, and 10 being a really strong sensation, we're aiming for around a 6. Once we've found our edge in the pose, we're just aiming to allow our bodies time to arrive and settle.
sinking a little deeper into that stillness. If at any point it feels too uncomfortable for you in any pose this evening, then just taking your time to slowly back out of the pose. This is your practice for taking this time to honour your body. Notice the longer that we're in our yin poses, the body tends to soften a little more and allow you to go a little bit deeper. So we always come into our poses really gently. We're just sensing with the body, working with where the body's at. The yin pose is encouraging us to slow everything down. Just to let go of all the busyness. It's really important when we come to make our way out of the pose that we do it really slowly. So just as important as we come out of the pose, we're tracking those changing sensations in the body. So just taking a couple of more breaths here, and in your own time, gently begin to lift the forehead or the chin and just come to lie on your front body, creating a little pillow with the forearms and bringing the forehead to rest on the back of the forearms. So just resisting any urge to take too many movements here, coming back into your stillness. This is called our rebound, when we come out of the pose into a more neutral shape. Just staying present with those changing sensations in the body. So this is energy moving along our energy channels and meridians. Taking a couple more breaths here, and then we're going to make our way into our next yin pose, which is Sphinx Pose. So another nice heart opening pose, working with our grateful hearts this evening. So with our Sphinx Pose, we're coming onto our forearms, making sure that the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. So sometimes people have a tendency to bring their elbows all the way back like this, and we're not really getting a sense of heart open in that pose. If you've got lower back issues, feel free just to edge the elbows a little bit more forward. I'm also going to give you an alternative with your Sphinx Pose this evening. If you've got pillows or a bolster, you can bring those under your torso. This helps to take the pressure off the shoulders a little bit. So it's still important you've got the elbow underneath the shoulders, so you've still got the heart opening. I just want to keep the neck nice and relaxed. So you can keep that gaze down towards the floor. Just make sure that you're not allowing the neck to hang too heavy, or you're drawing the neck all the way back. So just keeping the neck nice and relaxed. We'll just stay here for 3 minutes. Just allowing your body just to settle into the pose. Feels nice. You can just gently close the eyes. Allowing yourself just to drop a little deeper into this stillness. Becoming a little bit more present with yourself. And noticing what's present for you right now. Any thoughts or emotions come up, that's okay. Just acknowledging them. No need to get caught up in any stories, but just acknowledging their presence. Quite often when we're still, things can come to the surface, and that's a part of our practice, our mindful practice, becoming aware of what's really present for us. Beginning to bring your focus to your heart center. Noticing how your heart is feeling today. And we say we have three brains. Brain that we have in our head, our mind. Brain that we have in our heart. And the one that we have in our gut. Our heart center is a really important energetic center. Storing all our memories and feelings from our experiences. And slowly prepare to come out of the pose now. If you've got a pillow or a bolster in front of you, then just slowly beginning to push that to one side. You can just bring the elbows out to the sides and just release the upper body down, bringing the forehead back onto your hands. And just take in a couple of breaths here, allowing your body to come back into that neutral pose. Noticing those changing sensations in the body. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into our child's pose, which is a nice counter pose for any back bending that we're doing. So if you've got your block, you can bring your head, your forehead down onto the block, or you can bring it down onto the mat. It depends on how it feels for your body. So I'm going to bring my block under my forehead. And you've got the option to either keep the arms stretched out if you want to find a little bit of length in the spine. Or if you want a more restful child's pose, just bringing the arms alongside the body, palms face up, just allowing those shoulders to release. And just softening the jaw, softening the cheeks and the face. And a child's pose with the head resting on the floor or the block is a nice comforting pose for the nervous system for most of us. You'll notice that you begin to become aware of your breath moving into the back of the body. Just allow the whole of your body to relax and to sink a little deeper. Child's pose itself can be a reason to be grateful. You have a great sense of rest into the body. Just taking a couple more breaths here in your child's pose. And then when you're ready, just gently beginning to lift the forehead. Coming back to sit on the heels. Just moving any props to one side, so you won't need them for this next yin pose. We're going to come into our open wing pose. Again, a lovely heart opening pose. Really nice stretch for the shoulders. So coming to light on your front body, you're going to bring the arms out into a cross shape and come to rest your right cheek on the floor. We're going to take that left hand and push it in close towards the chest and use that left hand to push yourself up onto your side body here. So you're stacking that left leg on top of the right. So that left hand is really just helping you with your balance. So taking this time just to tune into that right shoulder. This can feel like quite an intense stretch. We're bringing that shoulder into external rotation. It's not something we normally do in our everyday life. So just being really careful and really gentle here. This might feel strong enough and you're going to stay here. If you're feeling that you're not around a 6 in sensation and you want to be a little bit stronger there, you can just lift that left leg, bend that left knee, and you're bringing the whole of that left foot down behind that right leg. So the foot is planted into the floor. Just taking this time to find your edge, allowing your body to settle into the shape, and then just gently closing the eyes down. All the time we can get really stuck in our body, we can get stuck in certain muscles, in joints. And so our yin practice is a really nice way for us to become unstuck. Starting to free up some space in the body, allowing that energy to move freely through the meridians. And that sense of opening up doesn't always feel comfortable. There can be an element of discomfort, an element of challenge. That's part of our practice as well, staying present with that discomfort. Just noticing the change in sensations in your body. So the shoulders, the hand might feel numb. There might be a tingling sensation. Everyone will be experiencing different sensations. These sensations that you're experiencing are really just forms of energy. Take in 2 more breaths here, and then we're going to very slowly prepare to come out of the pose. So you have that left knee bent. You're going to come to stack that left leg on top of the right, and just pause here for a moment. Notice already how that's changing the sensations in that right shoulder for you. Really important that we come out of this pose really slowly, and that you don't move that right arm. You're keeping it exactly where it is the whole time. You're using that left hand to walk it away from your body. Slowly releasing your front body down onto the floor. Bring your left arm out in line with that left shoulder. So you're back into your cross shape now. And all you're going to do is just turn the head and come to rest on the left cheek. So you'll bring your gaze towards that right thumb. And you're just beginning to bring some little movements now into those fingertips on the right hand. And then you're going to take that right hand and draw it in towards the chest, and we're going to come onto the other side now. So you're going to push up onto the left side body, bringing that right leg and stacking it on top of the left. So one side might feel tighter than the other, so taking a moment to pause, close the eyes, and just notice how that left shoulder is feeling. My left shoulder feels more open than my right shoulder. Aiming for around a 6 in sensation on a scale of 0 to 10. If you want to come a little bit deeper, you have the option to lift that right leg, bend that right knee. You're bringing the whole of that right foot to rest down onto the floor. If that becomes too intense, then feeling free to bring that right leg back on top of the left. We'll be here for 3 minutes in total. If you have that right leg behind the left, just bringing it back now and stacking that right leg on top of the left, and just pause in here for a moment. And then when you're ready, we're going to come out of the pose very slowly, very gently, by walking that right hand away from the body. So you're releasing your front body back down onto the floor, keeping that left arm exactly where it is, and coming to rest on your right cheek now. Just keeping present with those sensations in that left shoulder. When you're ready, you're just going to draw the arms in close to the body, bringing the backs of the hands to rest on the ground, palms face up. A lovely way to release the shoulders. Just allow the shoulders to melt away to the sides now. Whole of the front body just grounding down into the earth. Just taking a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, we're going to stay lying down, but we're going to come and lie on our right side. So we're going to come into our reclining Buddha pose. It's more of a side body stretch, but also a nice way just to open up the upper body. So we're going to be lying on that right hip. We're going to bring that left foot forward and that right foot back. So the feet are staggered really, just to help you with your balance. And you're bringing that left hand in front of you to help you with your balance. So just experiment how far you want that right hand to be away from the body. You want to feel that nice stretch along the right side of the body here. So taking these first few moments just to find your edge in the pose, in your reclining Buddha pose. And then once you've found your edge, just gently closing the eyes down. You might feel it a little bit in the shoulder as well. It's not our target area, but that's just the nature of this pose. So just trying to be as comfortable as you can. The target area is the side of the body here. So our heart opening poses are really important poses, so that they help unlock the cage around the heart. We can think of the rib cage as the cage around the heart, and sometimes our intercostal muscles can get very tight in between the ribs. So poses like these are a really nice way to stretch a little deeper into the rib cage, into those muscles. Breathe a little deeper into these spaces. And if we're allowed to soften
the cage around our heart, then maybe we can express our gratitude a little easier, allowing the heart to soften. Feeling free to bring something to mind, or someone to mind, or some place to mind. It gives you that sense of gratitude, that sense of joy that you have that person or that place or that thing in your life. Noticing how that sense of gratitude feels in your body. Sometimes it can be a really difficult practice to connect with our gratitude, especially if we're going through a difficult period in our lives, if we're feeling very low or depressed. It can be really hard to see the good things that we have in our lives. And sometimes it's that effort just to think of the smallest things that we're grateful for right now in this moment. Maybe it's your breath. Maybe it's the fact that your body feels warm or pain-free. Just call into mind those simple things that make you grateful in this moment. And the more we practice gratitude, the more we practice feeling that sense of joy and gratitude in our bodies, it helps to raise our vibration. When we raise our vibration, we feel clearer in our minds, we feel more joyful. And when we're vibing higher, we tend to see solutions to our problems, begin to see the good again. Taking those first steps sometimes can be the hardest if we're not in a good place. Lakshmi, goddess of light and abundance. A gentle reminder of us to really connect with those things that we're grateful for. And abundance doesn't necessarily need to be wealth. It can also be around our sense of joy, our sense of connection with others, maybe the path that we're walking on, the work that we're doing, the people in our lives. All these are a sense of our abundance. So we'll just take 2 more breaths here now, and then we're going to very gently begin to release out of the pose. We're going to slowly release the forearm down onto the earth. Just taking a moment to pause here, noticing how that's changed the sensations in the side body for you. And then when you're ready, we're going to come to lie on the front again, back into our crocodile pose. Just bringing a little pillow with the hands and bringing the forehead to rest on the back of the hands. Taking this moment just to notice how the left side of the body might feel a little different to the other side. And then when you're ready, we're going to come over onto our left side of the body now. So we're coming onto that left hip, bringing that right leg forward, that left leg behind, just to help us with our support here. Bringing that right hand in front of you to help you support you. And again, just walking that left hand as far away from the body as you need to. It will be different for each of us. I'm going to feel that nice sensation, that stretch on the left side of the torso. We're really working with stretching those intercostal muscles in between the ribs. As you find your shape or your edge, just gently closing the eyes down. If it feels a little tough on the hip, then you can do what I've done. I've got a little rug or place a little blanket underneath that hip bone. Just helping it to be a little softer. Making sure you're not clenching the jaws here, just softening the jaws. Maybe even moving the jaws from side to side. And to hold a lot of tension in our face, especially the jaws, without even realizing.
Slowly release out of the pose now. Just beginning to release down onto that left forearm. Taking a moment to pause here. Noticing how it's changing those sensations. And when you're ready, just come into lie on your front body again, back into your crocodile pose. Just bringing the forehead to rest and the back of the hands. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here. When you're ready, we're going to make our way onto our back body. And you're going to need your block for the next part of the practice. So we're going to come into a supported bridge pose, and then we'll finish with a nice supported fish pose. So just come into lie on your back, knees are bent, soles of the feet are grounded onto the floor, about hip distance apart. If you don't have a block, then a hard back book will do. Bringing the arms alongside the body, and as you inhale, just gently beginning to lift the hips off the floor. And you're bringing that block just to rest underneath the sacrum, that flat piece of bone between the hips. It should feel super comfortable. If it doesn't, the likelihood is you've got that block pressing into the lower back. So it shouldn't be anywhere near the lower back. It should be pressing on that really firm, flat piece of bone called the sacrum, rests between the hips. Just allowing now the whole of your pelvis just to grow nice and heavy. Nice sense of grounding down into the earth. From our supported bridge pose, we're going to come into our seagrass pose. So just lifting one foot at a time, keeping a nice generous bend in the knees. And this is a nice restorative pose, a nice way just to release the weight off the feet, just to relax the ankles. So you should find a point where it feels almost effortless to keep the legs raised if you have that block in the right place. And when you're ready, just releasing one foot at a time back down onto the earth, coming back into your supported bridge. And then we're going to float those hips up to the sky and just release that block to one side. And you're going to straighten out through the legs. We're going to come into our supported fish pose. So I'm going to place the block just at the back of the shoulder blades. So make sure that the top of the block is placed at the very base of the shoulder blades. You've got this nice sense of opening through the chest, but the whole of the back of the head should be relaxing on the floor. So you don't want to be on the crown of the head. That's going to be really too much strain for the neck. So make sure that the whole of the back of the head is comfortably resting on the floor. It's a nice sense of opening through the chest, bringing the backs of the hands to rest on the ground. I'll just stay here for a couple of minutes. Just enjoying this spaciousness around the heart center. Breathing in this feeling of abundance and gratitude and lightness. Take in 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to very slowly prepare to come out of the pose just by bending that left knee and just rolling over to one side. So you can move that block away and then release the back body all the way back down onto the floor. Just lengthening out through the legs. Just becoming aware of any space that feels you've created in the upper back, shoulders. And then staying here in this nice neutral shape for your final relaxation pose of Shavasana. You need to place a warm blanket over you, then feeling free to. Just taking this time just to allow your body now just to settle back into a nice neutral shape. Letting go of your practice, just allowing yourself to come into this deep state of rest. And as you're in your Shavasana, I'm just going to read you out a small paragraph. The preciousness of life. There is a blind turtle, innumerable kalpas old, living at the bottom of the sea and surfacing for air every 100 years. And there is a wooden cattle yoke waiting for it amongst the waves. The likelihood that the turtle pops its head through the hole in the cattle yoke when surfacing is said to be greater than the likelihood of being born human. The gift of life is such a privilege. Why waste another moment? A quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. The real miracle of life is not to walk on water or thin air, but to walk on this earth. Just gently beginning to bring your awareness now back to your body. Bringing some gentle movements into the fingertips and toes. And taking a nice full body stretch. And when you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, slowly making your way back to a seated position. We're going to bring the palms of the hands together at heart center, coming into our Lotus Mudra. So just separating the fingers, just keeping the the little finger and the thumbs together. I want you to place that thing, that person, that place into your Lotus Mudra, that thing that you're grateful for right now. And we'll finish our practice with 3 deep inhales. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep inhale. One last inhale. Closing our palms back into our prayer hands, Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment to be grateful for our practice this evening and to be grateful for our bodies and all they do for us. Namaste. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed the magic of Yin this evening and I hope you get a really nice good night's sleep, and I'll see you hopefully next week. We'll be looking at another Hindu deity. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.